Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, myopic proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing. I answer the phones for Critical Blast Consulting and go a little bit nuts when I'm wrangling the data. Chris, that was for you. And, of course, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics. We ship your comics so that you don't have to. Tonight, we are going to get back into the world of crowdfunded comics promotions and exposures, and we're going to be talking with Tyson from Rising Star. Tyson, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. You?
Oh, doing all right. Now, this is for Rebound #1, which is gonna be. Is this your premiere title, or have you done one before?
Yeah, it's the first one. This is actually, the second interview I did with you. The first one was back in November, I think, right?
It was a while back because I'm like, I know this character. I know you're launching again. So what happened? What happened with the old campaign? How did that? Geez. Just as not to embarrass you or anything.
Well, I know it's just quite a story, man. It's well, all right. I probably shouldn't drop the name here, but the artist I was working with, I had to break things off with him because, well, he was taking forever just to even respond to my emails and even longer to give me an update, and it was killing all the momentum I had. And the last straw was when he was like over a month late to give me an update, and then it was I just couldn't keep going on with it, so I had to break things off. But then I got a replacement, and it's been going much better.
But creative differences kind of thing, then. So
yeah, and basically, when I had to get a replacement artist, that was effectively having to start the whole thing over again.
Yeah. Now, we're not gonna throw the name out there or anything, but was this an artist you had worked with before or had been recommended to?
No, how should I put it this way? Now I know, but basically I found it by putting an ad up on DeviantArt. People say you shouldn't do that, but well, I know any other better way back then. And I knew that there was a lot of crappy artists there, but I figured you could just search through the ones and find the really good ones. And I thought
there's a lot of good ones out there too.
And I thought I found a good one when I came across it. We seemed to work it out, but unfortunately, communication. It was just so hard when it was so hard just to even talk to him, because it would take for him just to reply, much less give me an update, and it was just going way too slow. Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have a new relaunch with new art. Now the art looks, and maybe it's because it's the same character, but the art looks like it's similar quality. I almost couldn't tell that there was a new artist on it until you told me.
Oh, really? Oh man, I wish. I
only had one picture to go from now, mind you. So.
Oh yeah, but let's see. Let's go through the.
Let's take a look at it here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, how I found this artist was. It's funny. back to this other book on Kickstarter from Merc Magazine, and they work with this team called in Argentina called Stone Tower Studios. It was in Death Rage, and I really liked the art in it. I was like, yeah, this looks like what I want to do. And then I saw that they were a company that specialized in this stuff, like making indie comics and stuff for people like me for the right price. And so I shot them up an email. Yeah.
And you had the right price, apparently. So
Yeah.
So very cool. This is not launched yet. Probably launching, you said, this summer.
That's the hope.
This is May, so summer is not that far away, really. But the link, you folks, if you click the link below the video and the one pinned to the top of the chat, this is not where you will go. This is what you'll see when it launches. But you will be able to at least go to the pre-launch page and indicate your interest in the book. So we encourage you, once we've shown you the book so you can determine your interest, of course, we want to be logical about such things. We encourage you to click that link and get out there and
yeah. Oh, and here's the cover so far. Like, it's from the last artist, and still kind of debating myself if I should use that as the main cover still, or if I should get a new one. But I have some ideas.
He's been paid, right?
What?
The artist has been paid, right?
Yeah, I paid for it.
So you've got absolutely every right to use it if you want to.
Yeah.
Even use it as an alternative cover.
Yeah, I'm considering to have it as a variant and replace it with a new main cover, but I'll see where that goes later, because obviously this stuff ain't cheap.
Now, of course, this is a sideways cover, so I got to tilt my head to look at it right. But,
well, I mean, let's see. I wouldn't say it was sideways. It's more like it's supposed to display them in like a big struggle, like in the air. But
yeah, because now your character design here, first of all, it's very distinctive. I can tell that this is a new character, and at the same time, I can see influences of other characters here. I would say if I were to just, if somebody were cosplaying this, I wouldn't say, hey, if I didn't know who Rebound was, I wouldn't say, hey, it's a new character. I'd say, oh, look, Spider-Man's playing Pokemon on Team Rocket. So what went into your character design here? Because it's your character. You knew what it's supposed to look like. You told the artist and everything.
Oh, yes. Well, let's put it this way. I mean, it's kind of a funny story. How this began before it became a solo story about Rebound was that I actually imagined this being a team book, and but basically I imagined Rebound as being the main character, and I wanted to do like a Spider-Man type character, and so I guess I drew upon that idea with the the red and the big eyes, and
hey, a lot of people have, and they all work. So.
Yeah, and I like the big R too in the center is I mean, I think it might have been on the back of my mind, but I wasn't actively thinking about it. It's from Ricochet, also from Marvel Comics, and same with the pouch where he has the throwing disc. I wasn't actively thinking about this. He's a rather obscure character, but I knew about him before, so I wonder if on a smaller level influenced me.
Now, wasn't maybe I'm thinking it wrong, but I thought Ricochet was also Spider-Man. There was an era of Spider-Man where he couldn't be Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, that's
right. 4
right.
different superheroes.
Yeah, and then I mean I haven't read the story because it's a kind of obscure, hard to get out. I heard it was good, but yeah, 4 different superheroes took on his old identities, and one of them was Ricochet, and he had that he had the big R and the throwing discs.
Yeah, and they were all Spider-Man. He was just, and it was a clever way for Marvel to get 4 new number 1s out there, and four new Spider-Man titles.
Yeah,
I can't remember who the other characters were, but he was just using his spider powers in hidden ways to make it look like he was doing something else. I thought it was a clever story.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, I would like to read it, but it's it's kind of. I'm guessing it's hard to find now in physical form. But it's definitely one I've been interested to see because I've heard good things about it. Even though I heard it was killed by bad marketing or something.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think they overreached just a little bit here. But okay, so this is the new artwork.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I haven't seen. Well, I've seen this picture. This is
yeah,
so
pretty
in bigger form. Yeah, it does a little. It's a little bit more of a different style. I think your original artist was a little bit more not super cartoonish, but definitely had an animated kind of feel to it.
Oh, like let's see. This one thing I really like with this guy is he's really good at doing background. So, like
Yeah.
like you can tell that was well, this is it's a part of I think the Bronx he's in, and I gave him I think, oh yeah, Jackson Heights is what it's called. I gave him the reference with the subway and the background with the buildings, which is from Manhattan, and yeah, he did a pretty good job at recreating it well enough.
And it looks like Rebound does have some inherent super abilities. He's leaping a pretty good distance there.
Yeah, he
spidery kind of pose.
Yeah, his powers are tactile telekinesis. Telekinetic powers applied to the body, which like projects this whole field around him that gives him those enhanced abilities that are the agility, the super strength, speed, and he detects stuff like the spider sense. But he also has very accurate throwing because he feels the objects. It's just inherent. He can just detect it and then throw with extreme accuracy. And yeah, he can do other abilities like charge up his hits by increasing his TK power, which he does in like the cover where his arm is glowing with that red energy.
Oh, up here. Okay, I see. Yeah, he's charging his fist there at that point. Tactile telekinesis. That's a power I never heard of until the death of Superman, and the Superboy character came out. It's like he's got this tactile. Wait a second, what's tactile telekinesis? I'm thinking like, well, telekinesis is moving stuff with your mind, and tactile means you're touching it. But if I'm touching it, I don't have to move it with my mind. I'm moving it because I'm touching it. How does tactile telekinesis work for your character? Because I mean, they used to say that Superman himself had tactile telekinesis, and that's why he could. It wasn't that he was strong enough to lift a mountain; he just touch the mountain and then could move it with his mind.
Yeah, like well, I imagine like how it works, like an invisible field is all around his body, and that's what gives him that ability to move with such great agility and to have the super strength and jump around really high and stuff. Like it's like this active field that's like on his skin or something.
Okay. Do we get an origin in the first issue? Or are you going to hold off on that?
Oh yeah, it's how should I put it this way? Like this story takes place like 2 years after he got his powers, but so in that sense, it's like later. Like he's still moderate. He's a bit of a rookie, but still has some experience. But there will be a flashback segment that explains it.
Yeah. I was going to say, so he's been the hero for a couple of years after and he got his powers a couple of years ago. Isn't it funny how anytime a character gets superpowers, they go out and start using them right away. You never have somebody say, I better make sure I know exactly what everything is. Spend a year figuring these out so I'm really good at using them and no surprises, and then I'll go out and be a superhero.
Yeah.
It's just like, I need a costume. Where can I get a costume? And they always get a damn good one on the spur of the moment.
Oh yeah, like that's a lot of stories I want to do, and I definitely have ideas for a sort of like Rebound year one type of deal where he focuses on his adventures after he got his powers. He's in high school and stuff, but that'll probably have to come later.
Oh yeah. So these pages aren't lettered. Naturally, I think everyone can see that.
Yeah.
Where is the book itself in terms of completion? Is it lettered? Is it still being drawn up?
Well, boy, it's thankfully I've been catching up well enough because of the rate of the art being made. But right now, I would say I have like I think like 7 pages or 8 pages done right now. Like actually, I have one that's inked but not color, which is down there. But yeah, it's right now I think I have like 7-8 pages, and I think next I'm going to commission for more, like another 4 at least, and see where we go from there.
Okay, how many pages are you looking at this story being? I mean, are we looking half done,
48 pages.
Okay, so about a fourth of the way done.
Yeah, but let's see, this is page 2, and this is where he is this establishing scene where he fights some petty crooks trying to rob a jewelry store, and I would say that how do you think that looks? Pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, not bad. It's
Yeah,
a
like
lot of action scenes here.
yeah, it's funny. Like I described how each character looks like to him, like, and he did a pretty good job at replicating what the crooks look like there, and I really like the dynamic action. I mean, he zooms in to kick him from there, and then he does like the flip to dodge the bat, and then he hits him with the discs, and then finishes him off. I
Like
think.
only one of the criminals is smart enough to cover his face with a mask. The rest
Oh,
are just they're not very bright.
and yeah, probably that one who does it probably is less because he's worried about hiding his identity. 'Cause he just probably thinks the bandana looked cool.
Yeah, and so he takes down. Police are quick on the scene. Of course, he's up here out of sight, can't see me, and then just bounce. It's kind of like Speedball almost.
Oh yeah.
He's rebounding off of everything. Hey.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that earlier. The other big power that is the source of his name is that he can rebound off of surfaces. Like, so if he can he hit a surface and then he can charge and go farther and faster with it. And
Okay.
it's like kind of like a mode he gets in where he's on something and he increases agility and speed and that's how he traverses.
Like a super ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't be. It doesn't quite look like in ball form or anything, but
Yeah.
in principle.
Redirected and oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Amplified. Yeah, big
Yeah.
long word. Redirected and amplified kinetic energy. It's like, what's that thing? It's in the stereo. It makes it louder. Trying to triangulate words.
Oh,
Is this him in his civilian identity?
Yeah, that's him, and this actually takes place right after the flashback sequence. Like it like cuts to the present day, and yeah, he's texting his girlfriend Amber, and they're going to go to Javits Center for this fancy science exhibit. Since it's a science fair in a superhero universe, there's a lot
I've seen this story. He's going to get bit by something there.
Oh. But yes, as a science exhibit in a superhero universe, of course, that means there's a lot of really fancy stuff there that you probably wouldn't quite see in real life.
Yeah, you can see the cool stuff at the Superhero Universe Science Center. Not like the one in St. Louis where you go there and you see ants or mummies of Egypt. In this case, it looks like you're seeing some robots and some hoverboards.
Yeah, and let's see, yeah, and then this where the bad guys come in. Coil, he's been given the mission by his mysterious employer to kidnap a scientist there. And let's see, yeah, sadly I haven't gotten the art for that part made yet because, but I did get it last time. I just that's the next part I'm going to cover with if the page is done will be the fight scene with the Coil, Rebound, and Armor 5, and I think I showed you that last time, but don't have it here yet.
Sure. I like Coil's outfit.
Oh,
I like it in the same way that I liked the early Superman outfits, and
yeah,
early in this run where it was like a t-shirt and jeans.
yeah, and same like Gambit. I think they call this this civvy spandex, where they make an actual costume out of normal clothes and only a few superhero-y aspects.
Yeah.
Here, the only major aspect that's fantastical would be the mask and goggles. But it makes it work like that.
Yeah, he just went out and found a Kevin Matchstick shirt from Graffiti. Said, "Give me a dozen of them. And, I'm gonna wear one every day." Whereas his partner here, she's got more of the Psylocke thing going on for her with the glove, one-piece swimsuit.
Yeah, funny story about that. I actually came up with Systema as a character a long time ago, but originally when I came up with her, she was more in an Iron Man type of deal. But the reason I switched it out was because I didn't want her to be introduced before the actual equivalent to Iron Man Armor 5 and make him less special, and because of that. So I changed to being a cybernetic ninja, master of the cybernetic arts and stuff.
Okay. And they are bad guys here, both of them.
Yeah.
Making sure of that. And then they get their orders from Destro here in Secret Shadow.
Yeah.
We know who it is. It's like, this is your target, yada yada, and
Yeah.
the next page switches to the target. It's gonna be
this is Chris Hale, and who's the civilian identity for Armor 5, and he's there at the Science Expo to scout for potential interns for his company, which is called Vector, and he meets up with Angela Kessler, and they have a little talk with about what's on display in the back. There's a 5-ton cube being lifted by an anti-gravity machine. So, and he says something like, "I can't believe this fantastical device was made by some kid in Kentucky," and and that's what starts it off. And then, boom, down below they get attacked, and that's where it all starts. Yeah, let's see.
It's enough to get the look at this. Forgot all about that. I never forget my clients.
But let's see. Oh, sorry. I'm just. I would say the visual storytelling is pretty good. Like how he uses, you can see the explosion and the panel space. It takes up a big portion because it's an important shot.
Yep. Nice little use of curvy dots going on here.
Yeah, he actually this new artist is a team. They know how to use the page real estate really well. For that establishing shot up there when they're flying in, it's they make sure it's a big panel because you can get all the shot of Javits Center and the Hudson River in New Jersey is a nice view.
I would say that of all the pages, the only, I'm not going to say boring or unoriginal, but the only standard page is this one here, because it's like panel, 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 panel. Everything else has got the panels are in a more dynamic juxtaposition. You've got overlap. You've got, extensions.
Yeah. And I'm excited to get to once this is done, go to the next set, which will be the action scene. And I'm really excited to do that because I know he's going to do a good job at making an exciting fight scene.
Now, you said that this was initially intended to be a superhero group, and then you took Rebound. He was going to be the leader of it, and you turned it into a solo book. Are you still planning on coming up with the group at some point? How's the Rising Star universe going to expand out?
Oh yeah. Thanks for bringing that up again. When I first started, it was because all this stuff was new and crowdfunding, and I figured I need something that's looked really exciting, so I needed a whole team of people rather than just one person to draw people in. So yeah, I came up with this team that was at the time tentatively called the Street Soldiers, and the two characters who the villain here, Coil, was originally going to be on that team as a hero. His backstory was as a reformed villain, who became good. So here I'm using his original reformed villain backstory as his basis for portrayal here, and so those were the two characters I had the most developed at the time. And that's why they're in. Rebound was the most developed because he was basically the one I had developed the longest before that, and I had all that together. So it became a solo title focusing on him. And
now, Coil's powers, I'm guessing, are all electrical based.
Yeah,
just going by the lightning bolt symbol.
Oh yeah, that's what electrical. And I was going to be a team book, and let's see, it was going to have. Oh geez, I think it was going to be a 6-member team, and I actually had the designs made for 3 of the 4 others who got cut, and I'm hoping to reintroduce them later. In fact, one of them I know because I've written scripts ahead of time. One of them does appear at one point. Let's see. In fact, let's see. If I can pull it up, if I can find the designs and.
Share some art. Now, are you still planning on Coil reforming later, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't give that away if I am.
Yeah. Here's the thing that always gets me about reformed villains, because they did this a lot on CW shows like The Flash and Arrow. In fact, Arrow himself was a sort of reformed villain after season 1 because he was shooting a lot of people with arrows. It seems like when the villain reforms, they're like, hey, I'm gonna be a superhero and fight for good stuff now. they never have to pay for what they did before. There's never, well, we're glad that you're going to help. You can do that 20 years from now because you got some time to serve.
Oh yeah. Let's see. I got the tweet. I'll just put it in the little box here and pull it up.
Oh, you're gonna send it to are you gonna share your screen or?
Yeah. Let's see. All right. But yeah, like I had 3 of the 4 designs, and but yeah, I didn't want to make it unfocused, and I have all this plans. Like I want to organically build up the world, and I didn't want to have all these ideas to start off with that would be half-assed. So
yeah, like the MCU did. They built things up slowly here.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it wrong, and of course you'll end up with something like the DCEU, how they did it.
Exactly. Here, I got it. I see where you put the link to me. I was looking at Twitter DMs and other stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so what is it that we're looking at here? Walk me through it.
That is a Sparrow. Like his deal is he has no powers. And he's like, well, you know, a ninja, like who is a black ninja, kind of like sort of like Night Thrasher, but and also a bit of Batman. And of course, I guess you could say, I guess like Snake Eyes or something. Like he's a non-Japanese ninja. I kind of joked to myself before. I joked that I wasn't sure if Marvel today would do this because it would be cultural appropriation, but since he's black, they might not think that would be. I don't even know how they would process.
They put their head in the spiral, like, do we do it or do we not? I don't know.
But yeah, he was actually going to be the leader of the group. Like, well, let's put it this way: Rebound would be the main character, but he would be the overall leader of the team. And yeah, be like he's a ninja. He has a bunch of gadgets, advanced weapons, a master hacker, and and I plan that he has a hover a hover cycle, kind of like Hawkeye does.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely have plans to bring him back in the future as his own fully realized character.
I hope if he's got money for all this armor, he can get replacement capes because this one's been shot up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that way because it looks dramatic. I mean, or cool, like you know how you have ripped jeans, ripped capes.
Oh, ripped capes. Okay, fashion statement. I got you. And then
and this one is a Harmony. Like this, I think of it kind of like Luke Cage. Like the idea here is that she was from I think Jamaica, and she was actually a cripple. Like she has a wheelchair because he got shot at a younger age, but she discovered this mysterious power that brings her up to this powerful Amazonian form and all. And the idea is that she can use it and she can access more and more strength, but at the risk she expends too much energy, she will revert back to cripple form until it recharges. And that would be, very scary for her, obviously.
Yeah, be shame to lose the use of your legs in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
You use the power sparingly.
Yeah,
I like the basic costume here. I mean, it's not overly ornate. It's not over. It doesn't have all the Liefeld pouches, and it doesn't. It's got a bit of a boob window on it, but it's also not cut out in all the other places. It's just simply not necessarily to be cut out. You've seen you've seen costumes where the woman goes out to fight and she's dressed in basically a big long ribbon that's tied in strategic places. Like,
well, I mean that's
appreciated, but it doesn't make sense either.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for that in these over the top superhero worlds, but I see what you mean. Like, I like this design too, and I hope to hope to bring that in at some point. Like, I hope Rising Star universe, like it'll start with Rebound, I'll organically expand with other titles. Like, I'm hoping the first other ongoing I'll do at a later point will be Armor 5 series. Oh, speaking of I'll send you the link for that one after this.
Okay.
And this one is Bombshell. I mean, I guess you could see some of the Black Canary influence. Like the idea is that she's like a human alien hybrid, and she has a bunch of telepathic powers, which she mixes with advanced alien martial arts. and it was like also a biker too. So
Okay.
as
I
you
see
can
a
see,
lot of
there's
Margarita in her.
oh yeah, that's a good point as well. Like and the last one, sadly, I didn't get the design made before I made the switch. Was Archbishop, like an Irish Catholic, sort of like Daredevil, who has access to all this occult magic stuff, uh, and like that would be his thing. Like he could summon up like portals, and he has senses, and you summon demons, and using like a holy, like it's an enchanted sword. I mean, you can see why I pared it down to just Rebound, because there's a lot of stuff here to introduce, and it'd be half-assed if I try to do it all at once. So
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, if you want to send me that, you bring that other link up here, and we'll show off these other characters. So this is, let's go back. This was Sparrow, Harmony, and Bombshell.
yeah,
So are these all drawn by your current artist as well?
no, the last artist that I had to break it off with.
Okay.
But here it is. Right. Let's see here. Wait. And yeah, so I don't have the design for Archbishop, but all I imagine is like he has a white like cloak and probably red hair and a cross like tying it together. Like it's a shame that I have to skip out on ideas I like, but that's how it goes. Oh, there we go. That's the original art, like in compare and contrast. Like, funny deal. Like, I kind of changed his design as Chris Hale to basically actually what it was originally in the design sheet, because the last artist I think forgot what he looked like, so he just drew whatever, and he looked a little too close to Tony Stark for my liking.
Yeah. I remember the previous page also. That cube is a lot bigger.
Yeah,
and a lot higher in the air.
Yeah, I make a point with the art that he redoes is to correct the things that I want to get fixed, like or make better. Like
All right.
I wrote that as like an amateur I'm not a comic writer and without a lot of details in. And now that I have the second chance, I want to use it to add all the details I missed and make it a lot better.
And then this is not the next page. This is not,
Oh yeah, that's not the next page. The next page is, of course, says the Coil comes in and they have the hostages, like those guys hold hostages, and then R5 like shoots them down with all the focus blast to make his entrance there. And
so they're dead. These things are passing through their bodies.
Oh, that's another thing that's kind of messed up on. The plan is that they're not supposed to be dead. It's supposed to like be a force of concussion that incapacitates them. But I didn't make that clear enough. And yeah, and originally
these look like big white needles that go in one side and right out the other.
Exactly. That's when he originally drew a later page, it literally had all of them dead on the floor with the bleeding, and I had to tell him, the old artist to remove the blood and stuff. Like, I mean, it would be unneeded for him to use that deadly force. It would make Rebound look a little psychotic to see all these dead bodies while brutally murdered, and he doesn't even comment on it.
Yeah, and these are supposed to be the good guys. So
yeah, I mean,
unless you're writing the boys.
Exactly. I didn't make that clear enough, and so when I write this scene later, I'm going to make it a lot more clear that that the blasts only like are a force of concussion that incapacitates them and knocks them out.
Yeah, but this is Armor V's arrival at the Science Museum. This is obviously Coil looking up at him through the goggles here. He's like, and he's got the wide eyes of, oh, I was not expecting you.
Oh yeah, like he thought he had the whole thing under control because he had the people there as hostage. He was going to force Angela to come forward, or else the people will get hurt. And then he just shows up out of nowhere and takes them all out in one swoop. So he's like, "What the hell is that?" And
yeah. Now, of course, this is again art from the first time around. This has not yet been redrawn.
Right.
New art.
Exactly.
So yeah, make sure the new artist knows concussion blasts, not spikes.
Oh yeah, and I have to make it clear that they're getting knocked out and they're not killed. Like how he kind of messed it up the first time was that I just said they were taken out, vague term. I didn't specify that they were knocked out or incapacitated. I mean, you could easily interpret it as killing them.
Oh, yeah. If you tell somebody the hero took them out, we know what that means. They're gone.
Yeah.
So
Let's see here. Oh yeah, like let's see. This, but let's see. Anything I want to let's ask about it? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have it distributed through Critical Blast Logistics.
yes. So we're in the middle. I don't have anything to lift up and show today because I don't hang on to stuff. I kind of get it out in the mail as quick as I can. The only one I haven't shipped. I've got a copy of Exilium here that's going to Mr. Russo, but Mr. Russo found a way to go through Indiegogo and not include his address. And he doesn't respond to emails or phone calls or tweets or anything else. So if he ever wants the book, let us know where you live, dude. we'll get it to you. But until then, so yeah, I mean, seriously though, thank you for choosing us. We will treat you correctly. Right.
Yeah, hoping to, basically once I get all the art main stuff, like I'll hope we'll have it all together and we'll have it, have it fulfilled through you, and this will be a smooth and hopefully relatively quick turnaround. And I'm hoping that this is. Think of it this way: like this will be like the first issue of the series. Will be like a double-sized issue, basically, like at 48 pages. And what I'm hoping to follow up is a series of regularly released on issues of 22 pages. Like, and I already have the scripts written that go up to issue number 11. Actually, I mean,
so you're prepared then.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of spare time when I was waiting for art, so I just started working on that ahead of time, and especially, I mean, to make me sound kind of dark, especially because the last guy was taking so long with art that he was leaving me hanging. I had to do something. So
exactly. Have you looked at printers yet? Do you know who you're going to print with?
Oh yes, it's good. I think it's going to be Mixum.
Okay, they're a music company.
Yeah, I hear they're good. Like, it's funny. When I first was playing all this stuff out, I was thinking I was originally planning to do Print Ninja, but then I learned they were in China. I was like, oh snap! And I learned by accident. It was someone else just speaking about their issues with it, and I didn't even mean to find it. I stumbled across that. I'm like, I didn't even know they were in China. They looked so legitimate. It's looking like it was like a front.
So. Yeah, well, I mean, they are a legitimate printer. People do print with them, but it depends on where you want your money to go. Now, pick a printer, and you're going to find creators who've had issues with it. So you have to find the one you're comfortable with, and if you are aware of issues people have had, address them with your representative and say, "Hey, I've seen this happen. Tell me it's not going to happen to mine." And get assurances from them. I'm looking at the credits here, and of course, there's you as the creator writer and your pencil and colorist. You have an editor.
Yeah, in fact,
somebody's actually going over all of this that's not you, and finding story flaws and spell checks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's actually been it's funny. I mean, it might be outdated because I hired him to edit like a year ago now. Time flies, but the story overall is basically the same. But I had him go through it, and without getting spoilers, he really liked it, but he did find things to correct, which I did. Like I kept what he said in mind, and it was good to have that.
His job's not over. He's got to look over every drawn page. He's got to look over them again after they're lettered, and then his job is done.
Wait,
hardest decision you've done?
Like the drawn pages? Oh, I mean, he only looked through the script.
No. See, a comic book editor, they look at the script and they say, yes, the story makes sense. Then they look at the pages and say, yes, the story's told through the pages. And they look at the lettering and they say, yes, the word balloons are not crossed over, mixed up, and there's nothing spelled wrong.
Oh, maybe I should. I mean, I still have his email and everything. I could hit him up again, but I'll probably have to. Probably once I get the art done, and then get his letter. I'll now go through it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to fix them at the stages broken down like that than it is at the very end, because you can have an editor go over your story, and if your artist and your letterer don't get it all right, all the reader is going to see is the finished product. And the first thing the reader is going to say when they come across a couple of errors is like, where was the editor?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We do it all the time with Marvel Comics when we see that, Peter Parker Picasso pose where he's like, you can't tell you're looking at the front or the back, the way his arms are positioned and his head's turned. Everyone said, how did this get past an editor?
Oh, gee, yeah.
Have to do all of it. The thing is, comic book editors, they don't do any of it.
So what I should, I guess I could contact him again and see if like what the art that comes out matches the script or what. Like,
yep. That's well. You've already paid him. Say, hey, that's part of what a comic editor does. Didn't you know that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I might hit him up again and see.
There you go. And Harrenberg is here with our links. Thank you, Harrenberg. I always appreciate it. The mailing list for Tyson's Rebound #1. And there is the Kickstarter link. So,
thanks.
Folks, you've seen it now. You know what you're expecting, and you are now free to roam about the internet and click on the Notify Me button over on Kickstarter. I really like these action sequences here. This is and I really want to. Well, okay, he's the main character, but he's not the leader of the group. And I was thinking how that dynamic would be interesting. Seeing that there's a lot of Avengers influence here, different Marvel characters, different DC characters. I've been thinking in the back of my mind the whole time, wow, wouldn't it be interesting if Spider-Man was the leader of the Avengers? Was there even a what if episode like that?
Oh man, yeah. I mean,
he's not a leader.
But basically, I was gonna say, like, I have a lot of plans for the Rising Star universe. Like, I want to organically build the story up with starting with Rebound, then expand from there. Like, I have all sorts of ideas down, and I want to hopefully get it together where it feels satisfying. Like, it's funny, I have all these ideas, and people make the mistake of trying to launch the universe all at once, and that doesn't work because it feels so inorganic. And
you look at the way the MCU was done, one character at a time, and teasing the next, and you compare it to what they do with X-Men. X-Men worked the first movie in its time. They were able to just dump a whole bunch of people there, but it's a balancing act, and I think it's always better to.
In fact, hell, like even in Marvel Comics when it first started in the '60s, at the beginning it was just the Fantastic Four, and then eventually built up like that was like you could say the start of Marvel Universe proper. You had like Timely and Atlas before that, but then he built it up like once that was successful, they launched the Hulk and Ant-Man and Iron Man, of course Spider-Man, and then they. Yeah, Doctor Strange, then X-Men, Daredevil. That all came after the Fantastic Four was a success, and it was built each time, like developed on their own before they were, they did all the big crossover stuff. So they actually mattered.
And when they introduced Spider-Man, not as a character but as his own book, what they do, they put the already pre-existing Fantastic Four right there front and center on the cover. And had it set up to be a fight between Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. It was going to draw readers in. Now, spoiler alert, it was the Chameleon.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm sort of like what I'm hoping to do. Like it's funny, and plans changed. Originally, I was planning to actually launch the Armor 5 series a lot sooner. Basically, his appearance here in this story would have springboarded off of that, but. Not yet. It still wouldn't be enough to go on to really know him well to want to read his solo stories. So,
sure. All
right, without getting spoilers, like in the scripts I read at a later point, like there's another where he comes back and there's a big story where that involves him and Rebound, and you learn more about him there, and that will hopefully be the springboard for his solo book.
So, looking at the structure you've got here for your Kickstarter. You have one tier.
Well,
is that the plan, or
no? That's not the plan right now. It's a placeholder. But like, I'm hoping to get like a couple variants or something, and maybe some other stuff. I don't want to go too crazy though, because I've heard
Yeah.
horror stories about people who do. And
Well, you do have that extra cover, so there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, here's the regular cover, here's the variant cover. Hey, you can get both. There's 3 tiers right there.
yeah,
And if you wanted to have 5 tiers, the other 2 that you could easily do is like retailers pick up 5 copies of one, retailers pick up 5 copies of the other.
yeah.
Now you've got a fully fleshed out campaign that's not involving a whole lot of ancillary merch that people aren't quite ready for yet. You want them to get to know your character, and then they can love your character and advertise it on T-shirts and ball caps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping. My big hope is that I'll be able to, I'll just be able to get the art made, and like with the money I make, and then hopefully I'll be able to turn it out ASAP and get it out there with your, the help of you guys, and it'll people will be so satisfied with like how they got the product and the product itself that, I'll be able to run the campaign or for the next issue, and hopefully I'm hope that I can expand beyond just crowdfunding too, like I'm hoping like to be able to maybe get into retail and have my own store and all, but that comes later that I'm hoping to build up to.
A lot of people have worked their way toward that and into that. I'm seeing, people who were crowdfunding 2 years ago now have a website. So buy the books right through here.
Yeah, same with people getting into retail. I mean, it's like going back to that Merc magazine, how I found that the studio. That's been an interesting story because they start with the crowdfunding, and then now they're going to retail, and it's a pretty neat thing to see, and hopefully that's I'll have a similar trajectory once I get the hang of it.
Absolutely, and there's multiple paths to getting into retail. There's the Merc magazine Absolute Comics way, where it's like, hey, crowdfunded, and then we got into the Diamond catalog. Then there's people like Clint Stoker's Downcast, where he's crowdfunded it and then broke it up into pieces through Alterna, went through the Alterna program, and they're getting it into stores. We have a catalog that we're fleshing out and getting costs into right now, waiting for a couple of people left to get back to me and say, hey, what do you want to charge retailers for these books? We have an inventory. And then that's going to go out in a big email blast to everybody, and hopefully we'll see that getting books into stores, some of these crowdfunded books that we've fulfilled. We'll build out and turned around fast, man. I mean, here's the thing: if we get all the books, nothing like going through a whole box of books and finding out I still got more names and no more books. Something happened. But if we've got all the books, we've got all the data, 3-day turnaround.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Like that's what I've been really wanting to get, because I hear, I've seen like a lot of people just taking forever to get anything out, and then it's like it's so late, and then when you get the book, it's just like, I mean, often at best I like the book, but it's like it would have been great if it was part of a series and the next one would be coming soon. But it's like when it takes a year or so just to put anything out, it kind of kills any desire to want to see it.
Yeah, well, you got to it's the expiration of expectations. And the only way to really work around that is to get ahead of it before you launch, which I know you haven't done that because you're still writing scripts. But the only ones I know who have done that have been Miskatonic High. They're on issue 14 right now that they sell through Kickstarter, and they're just now getting into retail stores.
Oh, yeah.
They had the first 5 issues done before they launched the first one.
I actually discovered them like the other day, and I thought that was impressive that they got all that stuff out, and I guess that's a good point. Like what I'm hoping to do eventually, like after this, is when it comes to like issue number 2, at least, to be able to have enough money, I could just give a down payment and have all the art, sequential art, paid for, and then and probably character designs and cover and whatever else. And maybe if I can do that, like as they did it, get the next 5 pages paid for.
Yeah, that would be the best way to do it. But that's also something that people always can't always do.
Trust me, that's that's why I'm having to do it this way right now. If I could just pay for all 48 pages to be done, and well, I'd already have done that.
Well, here's what you do: get 6 figures off this one, and then the rest of it's just you pay everything in advance.
Yeah. I mean, that's hope. I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic. That's why I'm trying to build the momentum and do these interviews. I'm trying to go really hard on the interviews. Like, hope I'm doing one with you. I'm hoping to do one with. Well, I'm going to try to find people to interview with, and I'll keep what your offer in mind to get me in touch with some of these people.
Yeah, I'll recommend some folks to you that you probably
and thankfully, like the big improvement, just not just like with the art, but is communication. I said before about how it was taking forever to get an email back and even longer to get updated, and it was killing all the momentum for my story. Like, 'cause I had nothing to show, but here they're just so professional. Like, I send the email and I get it back really fast. Like, often it's usually almost always in the same day, and if there's ever any hiccups, it's they come back and they explain, and it's understandable. That's why I feel good, because I'm going to go to these interviews and promote, and I'll have a steady stream of new art to show off as I do it.
Excellent, perfect. Yeah, keep the updates coming regularly on your Kickstarter or your Indiegogo when you launch those. We've done videos on this in the past about having an editor and about doing updates. I've always said you do an update once a week, even if your update is to say I have nothing new to say. The reason you do that is because after you've done that for 3 weeks in a row, you will make something happen that you have to say, because you'll get sick of seeing it yourself. You're like, I'm not typing that again. We're doing something, and it'll make things progress faster. Progress reports make you progress.
Oh yeah. Like when I have the campaign up and do that. Like, I mean, what you said there was a lot like a big part of why I switched artists. Like, I was getting so sick of literally having nothing to show on like my social media, like promoting the campaign, that it was getting embarrassing, and I knew it's like I gave, well, not to sound like mean, but basically I gave him a lot of chances to try to speed things up. I tried to work with him, but sadly it wasn't happening, so I had to switch out here. And now it
happens to a lot of people. I mean, look at the number of people who were super excited about Shinobi Sasquatch, and the premiere art, the art that came out for that initially, off the charts. Ain't no book, because the artist isn't doing any art for the book. He's doing commissions for everybody else, and I mean, he's nearly Perez level of talent, but he has Vince Coletta level of commitment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
You hear that? Yes, I meant every word of it.
Yeah, man, that's but thankfully, since I finally made that switch and made the plunge to do it, and it's been so much better that I feel a lot better, because I thankfully I have new stuff to show pretty regularly. Like, I have some kind of new update to give out, whether it's like a new page or a new segment, like pencils and inks and the finished art and just all that stuff, and it's a lot more exciting now.
Yeah, because you're right. It keeps you energized as much as it does the audience. It keeps you engaged. If you have nothing to report and you go 3 weeks without nothing to report, guess what? When you've gone 3 weeks without nothing to report, the next 6 weeks are going to go a lot faster with nothing to report. You're just going to the time is going to get away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Report every week.
Yeah, I could just feel it was hard. I could just feel the momentum like evaporating after all those delays, and when it took when it was supposed to be a new page was supposed to be made like at the beginning of 2022, it ended up being over a month late, and there was no updates. I was like, give him like, hey, what's up, and that was basically, that was when I had to make the plunge. That was like the last straw. But
you got it's a business. It's fun to start off, making this dream, but once you get into it, you can't be losing money at it. It's you went into it for the reason of getting your books out, not for commissioning art for fun.
Yeah, man, and that's a good point. Like when I was writing the first time, I actually got a lot more serious about writing the story when it became when it actually hit me that I was actually writing a story for real and not just for theoretical to improve my craft or anything. And I actually made myself write a new draft for the story because I spotted flaws that I didn't spot before. And yeah, that's because I knew this wouldn't be like really good for an actual story, so I had to like make a better one. It was a series.
It's one thing to think of a thing happening, and it's another for it to actually happen.
Yeah.
And you get a whole different feeling about it when that happens around you.
Yeah, man. But now that I've gotten all that stuff out of the way, this is going really nicely. And yeah, like the art he puts out is incredible to me. Like I especially just love those backgrounds. It's like that really just completes it. And like just to see those good establishing shots and get the consistency, just that feel of the location. I was aiming for too was to go for the feel of like I gave him the coloring reference for like a 1986 1989 Marvel comic, like with some modern touches, and he added like a little grain filter to help make it a little more, give it a nice retro feel.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. So hopefully, other people will too, and you'll have a successful Kickstarter on your hands here.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to put it out. I'll both get funded, and I'll have enough to make the comic and get a little profit to put in the next one. Hopefully, I can keep the train going there, and you'll get the turnout. And hopefully, I'll come back with the next issue, and hopefully, I get more than that, all that paid for, and this will be the start of something great.
That is the way it's supposed to work. All right, Tyson, thank you so much for bringing the Rising Star universe over to our little corner of the internet.
Yeah.
And showing off Rebound #1. Folks in the chat, if you are interested in this and you don't want to miss out on it, the link is right below the video. If you're watching it on replay, still right below the video. Just click on it and go over there. Click on the little button. If it's already launched, the link below will still work. Kickstarter will forward you to the active campaign, so there's you're not going to be behind times. The only way you're screwed is if you're watching this next year and Kickstarter's already closed the campaign. Then you snooze, you lose.
But and yeah, thanks for having me back again. A lot has changed since the first time I visited, and including me having a proper camera.
Hey, you got to have the right equipment to promote yourself, because that's the thing when you're doing your own comic. You don't just write it. You don't just go over the artwork. You're the marketing department too, man. You got to be out there every day hustling this thing and selling it, getting on shows, and
yeah,
keeping people interested, because you keep them, you let them go blind for 12 days, you've lost them. So you got to keep them active at all times. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We don't have a show without you being here to watch it. We've just that tree falling in the woods. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.